guys, welcome back to Poor Man Guns. Finally getting around to doing a full review on my Savage Mark II TR. This is my personal favorite gun that I own out of everything. That's a pretty big statement. I really do like the 22 platform. That's what this is chambered in. If you're not familiar, this is part of the Mark II series from Savage. You know, if you've looked into those, you'll realize there's a ton of different models that they make. I wouldn't necessarily call this the best one. In my opinion, it is. Yours may differ if you've looked into them or have any experience with them. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's different from this and just your standard $150 Walmart Savage Mark II, and why the price on this. Try to justify the steeper price on this. I will say it is worth every penny. You know, a lot of people claim their 22s are absolute tack drivers. This one really is. This isn't by any means the best grouping I've done. This is at 50 yards. This is actually a fairly poor representation of groupings I can pull off. There's times where I can just about put all 5 in a singular hole at 50 yards. And that is... You know, let me start by saying that's pretty well just a full factory setup. You know, I like to do some gunsmithing to guns. This is one gun I really haven't had to do a single thing to, which is always a good thing. So what I've done differently to this gun that doesn't come from factory is I've added a scope and scope rings, and I've added a bipod. Other than that, every single thing you see is straight from factory on this model. No modifications. Has the Accu-Trigger, obviously, which I think all Mark IIs do nowadays. It comes set on its lightest poundage, which is, I think, 1.5 pounds, maybe a little less actually. Comes with this extremely heavy fluted bull barrel, which, you know, between that and the hardwood stock that it comes with, it is a pretty heavy gun. I will say that. It's definitely not one I would want to take out squirrel hunting or freehand shoot. It's definitely more designed as a bench rest gun. But if that's what you're looking for, this is absolutely perfect. Yeah, you know, some people would say the price is a little steep for 22. Personally, I say it's priced very fairly for what you're getting with it. This, like I said, to elaborate a little bit, although this might look synthetic on the camera, this is actually a hardwood stock. Which is essentially just coated in this very nice textured black paint material. I'm not exactly certain what it is, but it has a really nice feel to it. Lets you get a real nice purchase on the gun. Does come with this heavier bolt handle. Now, I believe the bolt itself is the same as just the standard Mark II bolt, but it does have the extended, heavier tactical bolt style handle. Has a metal trigger guard. So those are a few little things it comes with from factory that are different than just your run-of-the-mill Mark II. It does come with a 5-round magazine, which, to be honest with you, I was a little disappointed in. I kind of wish it would have came with a 10, but I went ahead and bought the additional 10-round magazines. These are pretty easy to find, pretty easy to pick up. Now, what I will say about this gun, and I can't promise you this is going to be the same for every Savage Mark II TR out there, but this particular gun likes standard velocity 40 grain 22 ammo the best. Now, when I say likes, some of you probably know what I mean by that, but this is true for a lot of guns and a lot of calibers, but especially 22 long rifle caliber chambered guns happen to run better or group better with certain types and certain brands of ammo. It has to do with a whole lot of factors, from barrel resonance to, you know, there's just a ton of factors that go into that, but mine happens to like specifically this CCI standard velocity. If you watch my last 22 update video, I mentioned that this is at 1,070 foot per second, 40 grain, just a solid lead nose 22 bullet. This is actually what this grouping produced, but like I said, I've got significantly better groupings out of this ammo. Now, some similar ammo in that particular range would be, I know it's got a sticker over, but this 22 subsonic from Remington. I don't remember the specs on it right offhand. It's at 1,050 foot per second, and it's actually a 38 grain lead nose bullet. There's also the CCI Quiet 22 LR. It's a lot slower at 710 foot per second, but it also does an extremely good job. And just to finish off this sampling, there's a Remington Target 22 Target, which is, just simply a similar bullet grain and velocity to the 22 subsonic, just a little higher quality. But that's what this gun happens to like the most, like I said. Now the next best thing would be something like the 22 mini mags that everybody's very familiar with from CCI. Those get into the 1,200 to 1,300 foot per second range. But it definitely does okay with those. I mean, there's no ammo that I've thrown at it that it just doesn't like at all. With the exception of the 22 Stingers. This gun, or at least this particular version, really did not like those at all. I wouldn't group those very well. But bulk ammo, believe it or not, Thunderbolt, which everybody says, oh, it's just this terrible ammo, it groups extremely well out of this gun. It's one of my top grouping. I've tried a ton of different ammo through this, and it's one of the top. So it does great with bulk ammo, so if you're looking to shoot cheap, you're going to get an excellent groupings, excellent performance out of this. Now the optic I have put on this is from Bushnell. It's in the AR optic series, and it's specifically called the AR-22. I don't know if you can see the logo there, AR/22. But what this is it is from their AR optics line, and it is specifically calibrated for the 22 long rifle. More specifically, for the 22 long rifle standard velocity to high velocity range with a 40 grain bullet. And the reason I say it's calibrated because it actually has bullet drop reticles specifically for the 22 bullet, which is very nice. I've added some of the Butler Creek flip caps on it. This is a 2:7 magnification. It has the target turrets on it, which are very nice, especially on a 22, because when you go from 50 to 100 yards, you're talking about, depending on the type of ammo, 3 to 5 inches worth of drop, give or take. So it's really nice just to be able to easily click those. This has the side parallax focus, which you can take it from 50 to 100 or whatever you're on, which is also a very nice feature. Just an extremely nice scope overall. So, if you're interested in a similar setup to this, just for reference, these are the Leopold Rifleman series, the low rings, and it is about as low as you could possibly go. If you notice where this dial is for the zoom, there is not much of a gap between there. There is a gap, so it's not actually touching, but it's about the minimum, which I like. It feels really good on this setup as far as getting a good sight picture. Like I said, I'll put up a little bit of range footage. I don't have a lot, so some of this you're just going to take my word on, but it is an excellent gun, with the exception of the 22 Stinger, and it wasn't that bad. There has not been a bit of ammo I've thrown at this thing that it just did terrible with. It's an excellent grouping gun. They really did a good job with this gun. Like I said, it comes free-floated from factory. Comes with bull barrel, the nice heavy wood stock, and that handle, which are your three main differences, but they make a world of difference as far as accuracy goes. Now that's not saying the original or the regular Mark IIs aren't accurate. This one just kind of puts the icing on the cake in a way. So as always, if you have any questions at all, feel free to contact me. I'll do my best to answer them. Hopefully this was a thorough enough review. If there's anything else you're wanting to see, if you're wanting to see some more range footage, I could try to accommodate that. But overall, just great gun in my opinion. Price, I didn't quite get into. I believe when I bought this a year or so ago, the base gun was about $450 from a gun store. The retail is a little closer to $550 or $600. But like I said, worth at either price range, worth every penny. Because when you can shoot that accurately, but also shoot that cheaply by shooting 22 ammo, it's a really hard thing to beat. Some people ask why I have so many 22s. Here shortly, you'll see a lot more videos coming up on 22 rifles. it's just because I have just as much fun shooting a 22 as any large caliber rifle, but I don't blow my shoulder out and I don't break the bank when I'm shooting. Simple as that. So, like I said, if you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. Bring in any questions. Let me know of any suggestions, anything along those lines. Thanks, guys.